You're about to look at the nursing home decision in a way the glossy brochures never show you. Because somewhere along the line, somebody sold us a lie. They told us there are only two roads. You manage completely alone, or you pack a suitcase and move into a facility. That's it, two doors. After more than 3 decades sitting at the bedside, I can tell you that's false. It always has been. And in the next few minutes, I'm going to prove it. I'm Dr. Thomas Grant. For more than 35 years, I practiced internal medicine and geriatrics, sitting across from people in their 70s and 80s and 90s, watching what truly keeps them strong and what quietly takes them apart. I'm retired now. I started this channel for one reason: to say the things a rushed doctor never gets the chance to say. We're working toward 100,000 people in this community. Folks who want the truth about their own bodies instead of a pat on the head and a prescription. So if that's you, you're home. Today I'll walk you through 5 real alternatives to a nursing home. And near the end, I'll hand you a simple tool you can use this week at your own kitchen table to figure out which one fits your life. Stay with me for that part. Before the list, let me give you the idea that holds all of this together. After all those years, I came to believe that staying well in old age rests on 3 anchors. Lose one and you wobble. Lose 2 and you start to drift. Lose all 3 and the body follows the mind out to sea, usually faster than anyone expects. The first anchor is place, a familiar room, the stairs your feet already know in the dark, the window where the morning light lands in the same spot it's landed for 20 years. Doctors have a Latin phrase for keeping a person where they already are, in situ, meaning in their original place. Your brain aging's on that familiar place harder than you'd ever guess, especially after 70, when memory starts borrowing from the scenery to fill its own gaps. The second anchor is people, not a crowd, not a party, just regular, ordinary human contact. A voice that says your name. Somebody who'd notice if your kitchen light never came on one morning. The third anchor is purpose. A reason to swing your legs out of bed and put your feet on the floor. A plant that needs water, a grandchild's ball game, a friend expecting you. Here's the part most people miss. Every option I'm about to show you is really just a different way of protecting those same 3 anchors: place, people, purpose. A nursing home, too often, cuts all 3 at once. The alternatives keep them tight. Hold that idea as we count down, because it's the whole game. Let's start with the one that's easiest to picture and the most overlooked. Adult day health programs. I know the picture in your head: a dim room, metal folding chairs, a television turned up too loud with nobody really watching. Put that picture down. It's 30 years out of date, and that stale image costs people their health, because they hear the words and wave the whole idea off. Here's what a good one is today. Many run on the PACE model, the program of all-inclusive care for the elderly. You go in the morning, you come home for supper, and you sleep in your own bed every single night. You keep your cat, you keep your routines. But while you're there, a nurse keeps an eye on you, a therapist works your balance, there's a hot lunch and real conversation, and a doctor reviews your care. Then, a van brings you home. Why does that matter so much for an aging body? Because of a slide I watched happen 1,000 times, the one that starts the moment a person stops moving. Picture a footpath across a meadow. Walk it every day, and the trail stays clear. Stop for 1 season, and the grass creeps in. By next year, you can't find where the path ever was. Muscle works that way. Balance works that way. So does the mind. A day program puts feet back on the path before the grass grows over it. And the alternative, the version where nobody breaks that slide, I've seen far too often. A capable woman sits home alone, stops cooking real meals, stops walking out to the mailbox, and inside a year, she's unsteady, underfed, 1 bad step from a broken hip. That isn't aging. That's neglect wearing aging's clothes. The research backs this hard. Work out of Johns Hopkins following PACE participants found they were far less likely to land in a nursing home than similar seniors, and their hospital stays dropped sharply inside the first year and a half. There's family math here too. If your daughter or your husband is the caregiver, burnout is a real medical danger, not just a feeling. A day program hands that person a few hours to breathe. So here's your move. Go to medicare.gov and use the PACE locator by zip code. Most programs take Medicare and Medicaid, and some set the fee to your income. One phone call starts it. I think about Lorraine, 79, a retired school librarian from Green Bay, Wisconsin. Her blood pressure was all over the map. She'd had 2 small falls, and her son was driving over twice a day and coming apart at the seams. She started a program 3 days a week, mostly to give him a break. 8 months in, her pressure had settled. She hadn't fallen once, and her son told me something I still hear. He said, "Doc, she's telling her stories again." Number 2, flips a belief most families hold without ever questioning it. The belief goes like this. If dad needs real medical care, real monitoring, real nursing, then dad has to move somewhere that has all of that. Staying home means going without. That used to be true, it isn't anymore, and the reversal is bigger than almost anyone realizes. I'm talking about home health care paired with remote monitoring. A nurse or an aide comes to the house, anywhere from a few times a week to every day, depending on what you need. Medications, wound care, therapy exercises, a bath if that's gotten hard, a trained set of eyes on you. And in between those visits, small wireless gadgets do the watching. A blood pressure cuff that sends its number straight to a clinic. A clip on your finger reading your oxygen. For heart patients, a bathroom scale that quietly tracks the water your body is holding. If your oxygen dips at 2 in the afternoon, a nurse might be calling your kitchen phone before you've even noticed anything's wrong. Here's the mechanism, and it's one of the most underappreciated facts in all of my field. We have a thing called transfer trauma. Move an older adult, especially past 75, out of the place they know, and the body takes a real hit. Sleep falls apart, appetite vanishes, the immune system drops its guard. Picture a big old oak. You can dig it up and replant it in richer soil with better sun, and it'll still spend a year or 2 just surviving the move, sometimes longer than it had left. People are like that. The familiar room isn't sentiment, it's medicine. There's an older principle in my field, primum non nocere, Latin for first, do no harm. And sometimes, the most harmful thing we can do to an 80-year-old is move them. The numbers are striking. Studies in the geriatric literature show home health with remote monitoring cuts, emergency room trips, and hospital readmissions by wide margins. For heart failure, one of the most common reasons a senior gets placed, work out of the Cleveland Clinic found remote monitoring slashed 30-day readmissions by roughly half. Your starting point is a doctor's order. Medicare Part A covers home health when a physician certifies it's needed, and the bar is lower than most people assume. Recently hospitalized, a chronic condition that needs skilled nursing, real trouble with daily tasks. Ask your doctor straight out. Do I qualify for home health? Under Medicare? Make them answer. Let me tell you about Roy, 82, a retired long-haul trucker from Tulsa, Oklahoma, a man who'd driven 2 million miles and hated sitting still. His heart was failing, and his cardiologist had already said the words long-term facility to the family. Instead, Roy went home with a nurse twice a week and a scale that reported his fluid every morning. Twice that winter, the team caught him gaining water and adjusted things before he ever got short of breath. Roy got 2 more years, good ones, in his own recliner with his dog at his feet. He passed at home last spring on his own terms, which is exactly what he'd asked for. Not every story ends with a cure. This one ended with dignity, and some days that's the win. Quick pause. If this is already giving you something your own doctor never had the time to lay out, do me a favor, tap subscribe and hit that like button. It honestly helps these videos reach the families wrestling with this exact decision right now. And drop me a comment with one thing, the state you're watching from. I read them, all of them, and they shape what I make next. Now, stay close, because the next one surprises people the most, and the one at the very top is something most folks have never even heard of. Number 3 sounds almost too simple to be powerful, and that's exactly why it gets dismissed. Senior co-housing. This is not assisted living. It's not a gated retirement village with a golf cart. Co-housing is a small group of older people, usually somewhere between 8 and 30 households, who choose to live as real neighbors on purpose. Everybody keeps a private home, your own front door, your own kitchen. Your independence stays fully intact, but the homes cluster around a shared common house, and people eat together a few nights a week if they want, swap skills, and keep a quiet eye out for one another. One neighbor still drives. One was a nurse and helps the others make sense of their pill bottles. One just makes very good soup. Why does that move the needle on actual health? Because of what isolation does to the body, and this is the part that should stop you cold. Loneliness isn't only sad, it's inflammatory. When a person gets cut off, the body acts like it's under low-grade threat around the clock, and certain markers in the blood creep up and stay up. Picture a smoke alarm with a dying battery chirping in the hallway at 3 a.m, night after night. Nothing's actually on fire, but the noise never quits, and eventually it wears down everything around it. That's chronic inflammation. It quietly speeds up heart disease and memory loss, even cancer. Real human contact, the daily, ordinary kind, is one of the few things we know of that turns the chirping off. The research here is genuinely remarkable. A long study out of Denmark followed seniors in co-housing for 15 years and found markedly lower rates of depression and hospitalization, and the residents lived on average more than 2 years longer than their peers in ordinary housing. 2 extra years. From choosing your neighbors, and a major review pulling together hundreds of studies and hundreds of thousands of people concluded that being isolated raises your risk of dying about as much as smoking most of a pack a day. We treat the smoking like an emergency. We let the loneliness slide. Where do you find it? Here in the States, the Co-Housing Association keeps directories of communities that already exist and ones forming right now. Some are built around a faith, some around music or gardening, some just around people who don't want to grow old alone. Most cost well under what assisted living runs, while doing more for your health. Doris comes to mind. 75, a retired bookkeeper from Boise, Idaho, widowed 3 years and slipping. She was skipping meals, sleeping at odd hours, ducking her own doctor's calls. Her son, 4 states away, was scared and helpless. Doris moved into a co-housing community a year and a half ago. Last I heard, she runs the Thursday supper for a dozen neighbors, and her blood pressure pills got cut back because her numbers finally calmed down. She told me, "I didn't realize how quiet my house had gotten until it wasn't quiet anymore." This is the conversation your 1 5-minute appointment never has time for. Number 4 turns the thing families dread into one of the strongest protections we've got. Living with family, multiple generations under one roof or close to it. I can hear the groan, cramped rooms, lost privacy, tension at the dinner table, and done badly, all of that is real. Done on purpose, with thought, it's a different animal entirely. I'm talking about a genuine plan, clear boundaries, the right changes to the house, built-in breaks for whoever's doing the caregiving, so no one person carries the whole load. When it's set up that way, the outcomes are some of the best in my whole field. Research in the gerontology literature, following thousands of seniors in well-planned multi-generational homes, found big drops in depression, in falls bad enough to need a doctor, and in the odds of being placed in a facility at all. The 4 piece matters more than you'd think. Falls are the leading cause of injury death for Americans over 65, taking tens of thousands of lives every year. So why does sharing a roof help this much? Something we call passive monitoring. It isn't surveillance. It isn't hovering. It's the ordinary, low-effort awareness that comes from being near people who love you. You know how a husband of 50 years can tell his wife is coming down with something just by how she walks into the kitchen before she's said a single word? That? An adult daughter notices mom's been eating less a week before any doctor would. A teenage grandson notices grandpa's confused today in a way he wasn't yesterday. After 75, the gap between something's a little off and this is an emergency can be terribly short. Passive monitoring catches things inside that gap, the honest part. The house usually needs work. Grab bars, a walk-in shower, a bedroom that doesn't require stairs, better light in the hallways. AARP and your local area agency on aging can connect you with specialists who'll walk your actual home and tell you what to change. And many states have grants and low-interest loans for exactly this. Earl sticks with me. 80, a retired auto mechanic from Spokane, Washington, with early Parkinson's and a balance that was getting worse. He lived alone in a 2-story house, which terrified everyone who loved him. His son built a small unit off the back of his own place, brought in an occupational therapist to make it safe, and set up gentle reminders for Earl's medications. A year and a half on, his neurologist said his decline was slower than she'd predicted. He goes to bed knowing his boy is 40 feet away. That changes a man, and now the one at the top. The one most people have never heard of, and the one I think could reshape how a whole generation grows old. Neighbor-run village networks. Here's the shape of it. You stay in your own home. You join a membership group in your own town, run by a couple of paid coordinators and a bench of trained volunteers. And that group becomes a kind of custom safety net built around whatever you actually need. Need a ride to the cardiologist? There's a volunteer driver. Drowning in a Medicare statement that makes no sense? There's a retired insurance man who'll sit at your table and decode it. Need grab bars put up? They've got vetted handymen at fair rates. Just lost your wife and haven't heard another human voice in 4 days? They've got someone for that too. And when your needs grow past what volunteers can handle, the good networks link you straight into home health and the day programs we already talked about. The numbers floored me the first time I saw them. A 6-year study out of the University of California, San Francisco, tracked village members across 11 states and found roughly half the rate of nursing home placement compared to similar seniors and far fewer emergency visits. For a membership that often runs somewhere between $500 and $1,200 a year, that's less than 4 days in a nursing home. 4 days. Why is this the strongest of them all? Because it feeds the body's reserves before they run dry. Think of yourself after 80, like a woodpile, heading into winter. Every illness, every fall, every loss burns a few logs. Most care waits until you're already cold, then scrambles for kindling. A village network stacks a log on the pile every single week. A friendly face, a ride that showed up, a problem solved before it became a crisis. Small deposits. But come February, there's still wood. You can search by zip code through the National Village Directory online, and if your town doesn't have one, plenty got started by a single retired person with a phone and a card table at the library. Bernice, 84, a retired postal carrier from Cedar Rapids, Iowa, who'd walked the same route for 30 years. After she stopped driving, she stopped leaving the house, stopped eating right, and fell twice in a single month. Her family was already touring memory care. Then a social worker pointed them to the local village. 6 months in, Bernice had a grocery volunteer, a walking buddy, and a tax volunteer who caught a mistake that put $800 back in her pocket. Her blood sugar number came down into a safe range for the first time in years. Last month, she signed up to drive other members to their appointments. She told me, "I spent so long being the one who needed help. Now, I'm the help. So, let's pull it together." A day program keeps your feet on the path while you sleep in your own bed. Home health with monitoring brings the clinic into your living room. Co-housing surrounds you with neighbors who notice. Multi-generational living puts family close enough to catch the small things early. And a village network keeps stacking wood on the pile, week after week. Look at all 5, and you'll see the same thread running through them. Everyone protects the 3 anchors: place, people, purpose. None of them ask you to trade your whole life away just to get care. Now, the tool I promised, I call it the Stay-Home Scorecard. And it's nothing fancy. It's 5 honest questions to ask before anybody in your family says the word facility. 1. Can I still get where I need to go safely? 2. Will somebody notice if I have a bad day? 3. Is my home actually safe for the body I have now, not the one I had at 60? 4. Do I have a reason to get up tomorrow? 5. When something goes wrong, do I know who to call? Wherever your answer is no, that's not a reason to pack a bag. That's a gap, and every gap on that list has at least one fix sitting right here in this video. Then take it straight to your doctor. Ask them, do I qualify for home health under Medicare? Ask, is there a PACE program near me? Ask, what changes to my home would you recommend for my balance? Write the answers down. Don't leave them in the room. Let me say the part that isn't medicine. For too long, where and how a person spends their last chapter has been handed to them like a sentence, as if they had no say in it. I've watched too many proud, capable people quietly accept that, because nobody ever told them there was a choice. So hear me. You have the right to wake up in a room that's yours. You have the right to be known by name by the people around you. You have the right to stay useful right to the end, to keep a reason that belongs to you alone. You are not a chart number. You are not a 15-minute slot on somebody's schedule. You are not a problem to be parked somewhere convenient. You are a whole person with a history and a few good years still worth fighting for. And the science is on your side here, not against you. When a person keeps their place and their people and their purpose, the body answers back. The pressure settles. The mind steadies. The heart keeps better time, not from a miracle, from dignity, from being treated like you still matter, because you do. One important thing before I let you go. Everything I've shared today is education, not a diagnosis and not a treatment plan for your particular situation. I don't know your history or your medications, and this video can't replace a real conversation with a doctor who does. Take these ideas to that doctor and let them help you weigh what fits. If this opened a door you didn't know was there, do 3 quick things for me. Subscribe so the next family finds their way here too. Share it with someone facing this choice right now. And leave a comment telling me which of these 5 surprised you the most. I'll be down there reading. Your body is talking. I'm just helping you listen.